All right, guys, I promised you a second interview today, and here I am back with another interview. Earlier, I interviewed actress Erica Peoples. I'm sorry. So this time I'm interviewing someone new, and they actually have joined us. So I'm excited about this interview. Let me try to get him on here in a second. All right, here we go. While he is getting his weight on here, he is a two-time Emmy-nominated actor, famed comedian of Nickelodeon's Kenan and Kel, all that, and the culturally iconic Good Burger, and he's added pastor and author to his title. Give a warm welcome to KEL Mitchell. What's up, Kel?
Hey. How you doing?
Good. It's been okay. So I don't know if you remember when you came to Chicago, it was a couple years ago, and you were at the Jam. Me and you did a segment together. I think we were talking about Kim Kardashian and some drama there. So it's been a while. How have you been doing?
I'm doing good. Today my book Blessed Mode has been released. Today is my first book's birthday, so we are so excited. Just promoting the book, and I've been good. Being a daddy, a husband, getting ready for the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into all of that, I know I have a couple. I got to get my questions in, Kel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you are from Chicago. What side? South side? What?
South side all day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what area did you grow up in?
I grew up in the Grove Heights area. And
Okay.
so, I went to CVS High School as well. Yeah, man. So, Chi-Town, that's my city. That's
yes,
my city.
I love that. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm a little late. I didn't know that you were from Chicago. And so this is like really even, to me, even better. Another, Chi-Town native kind of making your way out of Chicago. So with that being said, I am very interested to know, when did Kel get the acting bug while at CVS?
The acting bug started a lot younger. It was more of my mom saying, and my dad saying, we want to get you into something positive. And so I always shout out to the arts because there was a community theater, and I'm sure all my Chicagoans would know, ETA, Creative Arts Foundation. Shout out to Renako Jahi. My parents, we used to go see plays there all the time. And I remember my parents were like, yeah, we're going to put them in theater. We tried like everything, guitar, kung fu, Boy Scouts, all different kind of stuff. And they tried theater, and I went to this summer course, and it changed my life. When I walked in there, I was like, yo, this is what I've always wanted to do, because I was doing acting and stuff in the classroom. And getting in trouble, but now I could do it on a stage, and it was so beautiful. And I started out doing drama and plays, and I remember my first play was called Kasimu the Coconut Palm, where it was like the Wizard of Oz mixed with You Got Served. You Got Served didn't come out yet, but it was kind of like a dance and the Wiz, and it was just amazing. They used to do amazing original plays there. ETA is just a great theater. It's still an amazing, beautiful theater in Chicago, and I loved it there.
Yeah. So your trajectory is pretty cool. So from there, when did you transition into Nickelodeon? Because I mean, you were still, young, doing that. So tell me about that journey.
Well, yeah, so I went from ETA Creative Arts, working there, doing theater, and I would do plays at night and doing plays with adults. And then from there, I started doing plays in downtown Chicago at the Goodman Theater, Victory Gardens Theater as well. I remember I did a play called Eden, that was about a West Indian family coming to America. And it was critically acclaimed, got, in the press a lot in Chicago. And I got an agent from that. Shout out to Aria, Model and Talent. They're now, I think they're Ford now, agency now in Chicago. But back in the day it was Aria. And yeah, man, shout out to Mary Broncher, and I'm shouting out my Chicago people because I know this is Chicago. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so but yeah, they saw me and I started going on auditions. And I remember my first audition, I think was first audition I booked because I went on a lot of different auditions. But I remember the one that I booked. It was a Subway commercial. So if you blink, you missed me. I ain't saying nothing. I was in the back. You know, with a Subway outfit on. And then I got on the Captain Crunch box. Now that was big. Like I got on the back of a Captain Crunch box, and it was Crunch Berries. So I was modeling too because it was a modeling agency as well. So I modeled. That was big. But then all that came along. I know we've been wanting to get to that. So all that came along. All that came along. And at that point, I was at CBS at this point now. And I remember I had midterms like crazy. And that was really what was all on my mind, not really the audition. And I remember I got to the audition and I was late getting there. And they was packing stuff up. For real.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was like, oh no. So I got in there and I forgot my monologue because like I said, I had midterms on the mind, right? And so then they were like, you want to go and practice, your monologue? And I was like, yeah. So then I walked out and I knocked over some camera cords and all the cameras fell down. Now, this back in the day, so everything was plugged in, big old VHS cameras. And it was like kapow. And I did it very, very funny in a funny way. And I was like, as if I didn't do anything. And they thought that was hilarious. And then I walked out, came back in, did the monologue, killed it. Then they were like, yo, you want to do some impersonations? And instead of doing like impersonations of celebrities, I did everybody that I saw on the L. Like, you know what I'm saying? That I saw on the L train, that my uncles, people in my family, and I did all these characters. And I also did my coach at CBS. That was, I ain't gonna say his name, but my people that went to school with me gonna know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I did his name. He was just mean all the time and yell at everybody. And so that's where Coach Cretan came from, where it's like, ah, and all that stuff.
Oh.
And I did Ed as well in the audition room. I watched Saved by the Bell, and I just wanted to do like a surfer dude. So I was like, yeah, dude, well, yeah, cool. And I did that in the room, and Ed was born in there too as well. So yeah, all that went down in Chicago. Like all those characters were made in that room, audition room in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it was like a fail, but not a fail, because somebody would be like, oh my God, I totally bombed my audition, but that helped you actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, a week went by. I ain't hear nothing from them. And usually in an audition, when you ain't hear nothing for a week, you probably ain't get it. And so I remember the phone ringing, and I remember my mom. I was upstairs. I was about to go to bed, said my prayers, go to bed. And I remember my mom was like, hello? She was like, what now? We going where? What's happening? Oh, thank you, Jesus, right? And so she told me we were going to Los Angeles for a second round of auditions. And that was every funny kid from everywhere, New York, Florida, all over. And we all battled it out, to be the funniest kid. And I got through and got on all that. Yeah.
Wow, that is such a great story. I didn't even know how that came about. That is such a great story. So the thing that is really powerful to me, because from there, then it was like, Kenan and Kel, everywhere. So did you guys have to kind of formulate this friendship, or was that just naturally because you guys were naturally funny and silly kids? How did that work out?
Well, here's what's funny. Kenan had already done movies, right? And so when we got started, so all the other kids, we were kind of like new into this. Especially me, I was just in theater. Everybody else had been doing TV stuff. And I always joke that all the kids were like, well, I was an extra on 21 Jump Street, and I was this on Family Matters, and blah, 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 blah. And then I remember I was like, oh, yeah, well, I played Jesus in my church play, and I also... and I was like, that was good. You feel me? And so, but yeah, I had just, came from theater. And so this was like my first television gig, and Kenan helped me out a lot with giving me some advice because, he had been doing, film for a bit. He had just did Mighty Ducks too. And we had hung out together. our moms, they still hang out now. They flew out there with us. And, they were like the same size, you know what I mean? Same kind of hairstyle. He was from Atlanta, but he grew up kind of in the same way, you know what I mean? Where he grew up in Atlanta was very similar to the South Side of Chi. And it was just things that, we just, really gelled on. And I remember the first sketch we did was the Mavis and Clavis sketch where we kind of figured it out that we worked well together, was the one at the end of the show where we go, oh yeah, kick it. That one. And so, we were working together and we were just bouncing off of each other. And I would say a joke, even know what I was going to say next, and vice versa. And the producers saw that, saw how funny we were. And they just kept putting us in sketches over and over again together, like every season. And then one season they were like, hey, yo, we want y'all to stay here while the other kids go home. And we want y'all to stay here because we would have hiatuses and breaks in between seasons. And they were like, yo, we want you all to do the Kenan and Kel show. It's going to be a sitcom, very different than the sketch show you all are doing right now. This would be more like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Martin. And I was like, yo, let's do it.
Yes, yes. Yeah. The thing that I love, Kel, is the fact that, I stay on Twitter. I live on Twitter. I love Twitter. And every so often, every 3 months, people are still trying to give you your flowers because of, Good Burger, or they're posting a clip and they're saying, how funny you are. And it's so culturally ingrained now that, I mean, some people are like, we miss TV series like this. Like, it's not anything like they say that Nickelodeon was the best when Kenan and Kel was on. I agree.
I appreciate that.
I agree.
Thank you.
But how does it feel to still have that impact now, 2021, and people are still yearning for that type of content?
It's humbling. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? Bless mode. It's really cool because it says a lot about the writers and our team and all of us together. You know what I mean? I really look at it like it was a team effort. And so it says a lot that we did something that still people can watch to this day and still enjoy. I mean, that's what I like about, Lucy and Martin and, these shows that just come on and you'll stop and still watch it. And it's been, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you know what I mean? But it's such a beautiful thing to hear that from so many people. Like, I recently saw a little kid, he was 5 years old, and he had a Good Burger inspired birthday. And I was like, man, he wasn't even born then, but it's like, right. But he's like, yo, Good Burger, I'm all about it. And then even when we brought the show back, in 2019, that was awesome too as well. Just, a whole new generation of kids that enjoy it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and then do people come up to you and say quotes? And because I see them in the comments right now, they're going crazy with the
Hey, what's up?
References.
I see it. I do. Ooh.
So do you get that a lot? Does it? Because I know sometimes some celebrities are like, oh, I'm tired of that, or, please stop, hey, they get annoyed that people are coming up to them and be like, doing their own version. So how do you feel towards that?
No, I would never get upset about that. You know what I mean? And because I feel like, it's nice, it's sweet that someone just, really enjoyed something that I did and that it brings them joy. You know what I mean? I feel like if it was a character and maybe it was just like something bad or whatever, but for me, it brings a lot of joy that, it gave them joy as a kid. And then the stories you hear. I remember I did an event in Chicago, and I was doing an event. I think Kanye was there, Kama was there. Shout out to them as well. And I remember we had it was like a summit that we did at South Shore Cultural Club. And a kid came up and he was like, yo, Kel, you changed my life, man. He was like, I was in the gangs and all of that. But then I saw you do a 6-step on All That in one of the commercials when you were breakdancing on the show, All That. And I'm like, yo, word? And, because I breakdanced too. I was in a breakdance crew in Chicago. And so I breakdanced on All That. And I started to breakdance. And he did it and learned how to breakdance from watching that one little clip. that I did.
Right.
In that one little clip, he started to dance. He joined the crew and became like an actual dance teacher and was dancing, and he changed his life around. And so you just never know, you doing something or doing the talent that God has blessed us with. You never know who you inspire by just going after it. And so for me to say I dislike it when someone says, "Hey," nah, I can never do that.
Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good to hear. That's good.
Yeah.
And just to before we end, I do want to let the people viewing know I am going to take a few questions from the fans, so we can make this an immersive experience. So let's get back to. I was really interested in the fact that you started so young. You were a child actor. And you know how they, sometimes portray the negativity or the challenges that come with that, being a child actor, growing up very fast around an industry that, you're exposed to a lot of things in LA, right? So did you have any of those challenges, and what were some of the ways you overcame them?
Challenges being a child actor. Yeah, I mean, one is definitely it comes fast. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then it's you're adulting within the public eye. So as you're adulting in the public eye, then you're subject to public opinion as well. And so it wasn't Instagram or things like that around, but at the same time, we had our things with people that, would have their own opinions about certain things. And as you grow up within that, you start to feel like, who can I trust? Do they like me for me, or do they like me for my character? You have to be very curious about certain, relationships that you start, just all these different things. And, you bump your head a lot because you're trying to figure it out. And you're kind of playing in two roles, you know what I mean? Where it's kind of like I'm protecting myself, but then I'm also adulting. I have to experience things and learn things. And so, it's definitely deep in that way. And I think that it's a certain type of stress that comes with that, especially with growing up in the public eye like that. And that's why it's so important that, we pray for, entertainers too as well, because they go through a lot as well. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, you see the glitz and glamour, but you don't see the other side of it, the work that goes into it, the trust that you have, the trust, the people that's trying to do you wrong and things like that. You know what I mean? So it can definitely get pretty deep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can imagine. And then also too, the pressures that you have to kind of keep up. Sometimes with the Joneses, or just, career wise, did you have any pressures that really like put you into a dark place?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just within, just in life, you know what I mean? Like, I think everyone goes through ups and downs in their lives, even outside of entertainment. And everyone has certain traumas that they deal with in their life. And I've been through a lot of that. I've been through having emotional walls and things that I didn't deal with. And a lot of frustration, and basically where depression comes from is frustration that you just put inside. You know what I mean? And you don't know how to deal with it, so you just try to, close it up, but you don't deal with it. And when you don't deal with it, then you can end up blowing up. You know what I mean? Where to the point where you end up in a space where I don't know to talk about this with anybody, and I'm so frustrated at this whole situation, or my life didn't turn out the way I wanted to, and it can turn into a depression. You know what I mean? And that's one reason why I wrote Bless Mode, because I wanted to help people learn how to find joy within those dark times, because God was with me in the low times. He was with me in the high times. He's always there. And I just wanted to show people that in every emotional wall, there is a breakthrough. There is a light there for you. And just wanted to help them see how to do that, and how I did that throughout my life. It's like people have grown up with me over the years, and I want to show them how I got through my ups and downs, and how I got to where I'm at, and how I can have this peace. You know what I mean? This peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to, start getting into is your new book, Bless Mode. And just, I didn't know you were a youth pastor years ago. Did you just become a youth pastor, or years ago when you were here?
What changed? Yeah, check this out. So here's what's deep is because, you know, like a lot of times when you are in a public eye, people forget about the time. You know what I mean? Like they'll think like, hey, Good Burger was just last week and he's doing this. And it's like, no, 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 no. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like in the early 2000s, right? I had got to a point in my life where I was talking about those depression times, right? And I felt like where my life was, it was a lot of different mistakes and you know horrible relationships and all these different things, and I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I want to press game over. You know, I'm not happy where I'm at, and it's just game over. And I really was gonna just, you know, commit suicide. I was done, right? And it was a thing where in that moment God spoke to me and he said, no, you're not. He said, no, you're not. He spoke to my heart so strong, and he said, you're gonna give me another try. You know me, so you're gonna give me another try. You know me. You've been in church. You grew up in church, and when you were a kid, you're gonna give me another try. Now here's the thing. I know him, but I never had a relationship with him in that moment. You know what I mean? A relationship, and
Right.
what I mean by a relationship is saying you're gonna put God in every aspect of your life and everything you do. So before you make a decision in anything, career, family, whatever, you take it to God. And so that was a long process, and it took some years for me to figure out. So, but I made that change right in the early 2000, right, like right around that time. And I met an evangelist a couple of years later after that moment. I met an evangelist, and that evangelist prayed with me every night, prayed with me every morning. Sometimes I was coming home from the club, and it was like, yo, and she was like, yo, you gonna be
Let's
obedient
pray.
to, right? Let's pray. And I'm like, and then we would pray, and I would do that sometimes over the phone, and it was this obedience that happened, and the consistency within doing that, that was an encouragement to my spirit. And what started to happen was, is that now I started to get a desire for the things that God wanted in my life, and it was a purpose that He wanted for me, and I started to see more of that. And so things started to open up where he said, okay, now I want you to speak to youth in LA. So I started speaking to youth in LA, and I was going to juvie homes speaking to kids. I was going to youth groups speaking to kids and telling them my testimony. And a lot of times, sometimes I needed to have a pick me up, but I was picking up others. And as I was doing that, it was like a blessing for me, like a blessing to be a blessing within doing that. And as I was doing that, things just started to open up. I got into the church a lot more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I met my beautiful wife around this time. We were dating around that time. We started working within the community too, as well. And it was just such a beautiful. It was refreshing because it was just like where you are getting more back in contact with your spiritual self. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And taking care of your spiritual self, and within doing that. And I remember then years after that, then it got stronger, the desires for the Lord, where the Lord people evangelists started telling me, hey, you should preach. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the Lord told you. He didn't tell me that. And it's like, you need to preach. But then I started to think, and there was a lot of people, even when I was a kid, that said, hey, little preacher, oh, you gonna do this?
Oh,
But I just
wow.
kind of overlooked that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
now being in a new space and seeing life differently with new eyes, you know what I mean, God's eyes, I started to go, you know what, Lord, you've been preparing me all these years, right? After I decided to live again, you have been preparing me all these years, and you show me how, like I've gotten through depression, I've gotten through suicidal thoughts, I've gotten through bad relationships, and He's like, you, I'm still here with you, so now I want you to do this for me, right? And so I said, all right. And He said, I still want you to be in the entertainment business as you're doing it. And so I stayed in the entertainment business, and I became a preacher. I've been I've been in church ministry for over 10 years, and working in helps ministry. But I've been a pastor for the last 3 years, and that's been great. And it was funny when it was announced that I was a pastor. People thought I was just doing that out of nowhere. So people were like, "Oh, he's gonna do Good Burger weddings and all this stuff," you know, you know. And I'm like, no, this not. I'm not a novelty pastor. Like, this is
Right.
for real. Like, and I've been working within the church for years, and now you all are just knowing about it.
Seeing
You
it.
know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
seeing it. But yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. And my thing is like, look, I'm gonna be unapologetically me. and let people know about God, let them know about the love that he has, because it's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff that we don't know about. You know what I mean? And, you know, whether they're celebrity, non-celebrity, whatever, there's a lot of trouble going on in this world, and people are looking for motivation. They're looking for godly love. They're looking for divine love, and they're looking for peace and joy. You know what I mean? And so
Absolutely.
I was like, if I could be a part of that, you know what I mean? Heavenly Father, if I could be a part of that and helping and doing that, I'm going to do it. So let me tell my story. Let me tell my part. And so Bless Mode is, you know, that's what I'm doing right now. So that's an awesome book. It's really, yeah.
And the thing, I could just see your passion for it, the way you talk about it. You're lighting up. Your demeanor is different, and I love that for you.
Yeah.
I was really curious to know, on your journey, since it started, your spiritual journey started in 2000. Did you notice any of your close people? Because if they're close with you, they wouldn't, you know, treat you differently. But once you started to get into it, did you notice, like, maybe close, you know, friends start to treat you differently or shy away from you?
Yeah, a lot of people I had to cut off around that time. You know what I mean? It was a lot where see, here's the thing. You have to look at, if there's something that's happening in your life that feels like a circle, and you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's a negative circle. You have to start looking at, okay, what is the pattern that's getting me to that? What is the patterns that's making me stay in that? And so you got to cut off some things. You know what I mean? And so it was a lot of things that I had to cut off. You know what I mean? And I saw the patterns, and I was like, yep, got to cut this off, got to cut this off, got to cut this person off, got to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't still pray for that person. That doesn't mean that you can't forgive those people. You know what I mean? And you have to forgive yourself as well. You know what I mean? Forgive yourself. And because so many people that are so hard on themselves as well. And I was one, you know, so I had to forgive myself too within the process. And it was just all this spiritual growth and spiritual building was so important. And I had no idea that the Lord was gearing me up to, be able to help others within this. But that's what it's about. When you go through a breakthrough, you're supposed to show others how to break through. That's the whole point, and lead them to the light and show them how to do it. You know, when people are on drugs and they got a certain high, they start telling people about it. That's why I sell so much, because it's kind of like, yo, you going through some stuff. I got something to make you forget about it. Hey, yo, you need to smoke this. You need to, put this in your arm, do this, but smoke this, whatever, drink this. You know, so why wouldn't we be hope dealers? You know what I mean? When it's like, show them about Christ. You know what I mean? There's a total different high. Leave all that other stuff alone. Get with the Lord. You know what I mean? Get with the Lord. That's what you need. Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about, the last time I saw you when you were here in Chicago, your wife, and you had a baby. He was still in his little stroller. It was so cute. Wait, it's a boy or a girl, right?
I think at that time it was my daughter, but I just had my son as well during the pandemic, which is so beautiful. My little boy, he's one right now.
Look at you. Okay, yeah. So as a dad, first thing I want to know is, are you going to introduce Good Burger to your kids?
Yes, they've all have seen Good Burger.
Okay, good.
My oldest ones have saw it in the 90s, and then my youngest daughter got to experience it. She saw the movie, but then she got to experience it live when we brought all that back, which was just another surreal moment for me. And then my son, he's seen it on like Netflix, but he's only one, so he smiled at it, so I don't know.
Did he recognize, like, that's Daddy?
Yeah. Yes, he did. He recognizes that's Daddy. And then my youngest daughter as well, when she discovered it, like, she saw me on set and doing, Ed. And then she realized, like, oh, Daddy's Ed. That he gets in character. He puts the wig on, and like, and she's like a little director where she's kind of like, hey, Daddy, do Ed as while you read this book to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. Well, so then Peppa Pig, Went to the mall, yeah, and it's like, but I love doing that. It's all about, you know, spread that joy. I love doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also too, like, you know, the holidays are about like family traditions, and
Mhm.
earlier you had said that your mom made sure that you kind of dabbled in everything, you know, to kind of
Mhm.
keep you off the streets, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So is there, are you going to take that same path with your kids, kind of let them
Mhm.
dabble into everything?
You know, yeah, dabble in everything. Yeah, that's positive, of course. You know what I mean? Because it's a
Hmm.
thing of finding that thing that makes you smile, that gives you joy, that you dream about when you go to sleep. And, you know, I tell that to a lot of adults. I do that with my kids, but then I also tell adults as well, like, what is that thing? You know what I mean? Because people are like, well, what's my purpose? What is that? Well, what do you dream about all the time? What is the thing that when you work and you do it, you have so much joy, you know, doing it, that's positive, you know? And, you know, go after that, do it, like, especially like, and then, you know, distractions will come up, fear will come up, trying to stop you from doing it. Go after it. You know what I mean? It's going to
Yeah.
be a hard journey. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to tell people like it's just going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? But go for it. You know what I mean? Continue to work, and you just never know. Because even with being a pastor, it's work within that too as well. And with me being on television as well, it's work in that, and in those times where you know, in my low times and or hustling times, and you know, there's always times with that. Those are the times where you go, that makes you who you are. You know what I
Mm.
mean? When you going through the valley and you going through it, getting to something that's amazing. You know what I mean? And so, like Bless Mode, it started off with Mr. Mitchell Morning Motivation. That's something I was doing on Instagram. I would get on my story and I would go, yeah, Mr. Mitchell Morning Motivation, and I would do that, and I would motivate people for just a couple of seconds, you know, a couple of minutes, and every morning I was doing it. And then I remember I started going through something in my life, right? And I didn't feel motivated to do it every morning, right? And my wife was like, "Nah, you continue to do it for people, you know, because they're looking for it." And I was like, "Man, baby, you're right." So I was doing that because me and her, we pray together. You know, if it's something that the family's going through, we pray together and make sure that the prayer is strong. So it's like now these people were watching me online. It's like, well, I'm gonna pray with them and continue to do that as well. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
and then that birth bless mode, because it was just like getting up every morning. Even sometimes you might not feel like it, or sometimes you might not feel like praying. You need to. You know what I mean? You need to really do it. Get down and ask the Lord for help to help you within it. And yeah, that's what's in there. It's a lot of nuggets in bless mode that are just really
Yes, I
good.
see.
Yeah,
Don't give
yeah.
away too many nuggets
I
because they need
won't.
to
I
get the
won't.
book now. You know, come on now, hold a little back. But before, you know, I wrap this up, let me get some questions in from some of your fans, because I know I see some in here, and I promised I would do that. So here is a question from Lucky. I don't know if you could see it on your end, but
I can see it.
Lucky7JC1. That's the question for Kel. It says, when will Kenan and Kel have another TV movie?
TV movie. I don't know about a TV movie, but we were talking about Good Burger, so I don't know. There was even a talk about doing a cartoon series
Oh,
uh
nice.
for Good Burger, which kind of makes it live forever at that point. You know what I mean? Like a Simpson
Yeah.
type of vibe. So if y'all into that, you know, let me know. We were talking to producers about that, so that might be a fun thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta. That's why I was just my
Yeah.
interview before you was Erica Peoples, and we were talking about like we need support as Black creators. You know, I have
Hmm.
this platform. I need the support too, because then you have people come up to you and say, "When you gonna have your own TV show?" Well,
Well,
well, you know,
exactly.
I'm trying, but it just doesn't come like that. So yes, that continued support, or just, you know, showing, you know, the fan base around that, then you can
Yeah,
come to the producers with those numbers and say, hey, people are
exactly.
yearning for this, you know?
Real
So yeah,
talk.
it's very important that we definitely support. So here's
Yeah. Another question. Let's see.
another question from
Yeah.
6ix9ine. I don't know, snitch.
He's snitching on people.
It says, and what's in the egg sauce?
Well, first you start off with a little bit of lemon juice, and then you add in a little bit, and then Kenan flies down from. He's like, "No, don't tell him." I can't tell you that. Can't tell you the egg
It's
sauce.
a secret one.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
There you go. You already know.
Oh, but check this out, Chicago. We were bringing. I did a live version of Good Burger with my good friend Derek Berry, where we had an actual Good Burger restaurant in LA, and so we were coming to Chicago to bring it out in Chicago, but then the pandemic hit. So,
dang.
Yeah, but things are opening up, so we're gonna bring it back. We're gonna bring it to Chicago. Definitely.
Well, I hope I can invite Kel.
Of course.
If I don't, I'm gonna be real mad.
We ain't gonna do that to you. You're gonna get your invite.
Okay. Javante Lavish wants to know, how did you feel about Kenan and Kel not having a final episode?
Not too crazy, because what happened was that it was just we knew it was the end of the season. You know what I mean? So we knew it was. We didn't know if everyone was going to renew the contract. You know what I mean? It was time for our contract to be up. So we did have a graduation episode. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a graduation episode. And it was really an ending, because in the ending, he might have not seen it, because in the last episode, I actually went and got everything that Kenan asked me to get. So when he goes, "Hey, Kel, go get it, blah, 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 blah," and I go, oh, here it goes. I pulled back the curtain and I actually got everything that he asked from episode 1 all the way to the end. So it's pretty funny. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to take one more from the fans. Let me see. Let me get you a good one. Okay, here we go. So this is from Mighty Pups Fanboy. What was your reaction that Nickelodeon studio closed at Universal?
Oh, closed Universal Studios, Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we started filming in Orlando first, all that, and Kenan and Kel, before we came to LA and started filming in LA. And Nickelodeon Studios, there was a staple in out there in Florida, and so they changed the studio and made it Blue Man Group. I don't know if y'all know the Blue Man Group, but they did like a thing there. Yeah, so they made it. It made it a theater for that. But what was funny is that it's still like little things from Nickelodeon that are in the studio. So when people would go to see the Blue Man Group, or they'll go to the studio now, you'll still see certain things like slime in the bathroom on certain walls, like not real slime, but the art from the slime. There's still like a capsule that's there from Nickelodeon that's still there, that was put there like in the early 90s, of stuff that's from the 90s that's stuck in the ground. So it's still little things there. So little nuggets there if you go up there and just kind of look around. Yeah.
Now, speaking of slime, wasn't that the reason why you were here in Chicago that time? Because they had like a Nickelodeon tour or something, and they were doing, it was like really cool.
Yeah, it was called the Slime Fest. And
Slime Fest, right.
Slime Fest. Yeah, it was like Chokella. Is that my center? Coachella. It was. I said Chokella. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Chokella.
No, Coachella for kids. For kids. So like a big festival for little children. And so super safe, super fun, and a lot of slime, a lot of SpongeBob characters running around. I mean, you were there, you remember. So we did that in Chicago for like 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So are they going to do that again?
Yeah, we got to bring it back. The pandemic stopped a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I, kept you longer than I had anticipated, but I knew I had a lot of stuff to get in there,
Yeah.
And I am super, super happy for you. I feel like your trajectory and the direction that you decided to go was ordained, was destined, was for you,
Amen.
And I feel like continued growth. I did see, which I really like and was interested in, that you are working on Tales of Valor, which is kind of like a pet show. Yeah. So I think that's really cute and sweet, And then just like your book and other things that you're working on, it's so great for you,
Yeah, I got a show on MTV called Deliciousness.
Deliciousness too.
Yeah, we just got picked up for our third season, so I'm excited about that. New episodes coming up for the Deliciousness fans out there. And Blessed Mode is out today. I'm so excited about that. So go get it. Go to Target, go to Barnes & Noble, go to Amazon, go grab that. And I pray it's a blessing to you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Support, support, support. Kel, I would love to do this again. This was been like the most amazing. Next to, I would say, Golden Brooks, who I interviewed, but this is probably the most amazing because I feel like another 90s iconic actor. I love bringing them on and let's just, chatting it up. I'm hoping that we can do it again. Again, people, please support Kel. He needs all your support. Go ahead and get Blessed Mode. I love the title of it. And we'll do this again, yes?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Have a blessed time. Nice to see everybody in there.
And happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. God bless y'all. Peace.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.